In this video, I'm going to talk about what self-love is and recognize if we're actually practicing self-love. Self-love itself is like premium fuel for your healing journey. It's kind of like if you're not practicing self-love, you're not really able to heal. We need to make sure that we're actually practicing self-love in the way that is loving to ourselves. Unfortunately, self-love is one of those things where if you don't learn about what it is and practice it, you don't know. We tend to think, okay, well, this is how I love someone, so I'm going to love myself like this. Now, unfortunately, we've not necessarily been taught what self-love is. And a lot of the ways that we've been loved and we know how to love is extremely conditional, which does get in the way of us being able to have that self-love for ourselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how we necessarily work and how we can get to a place where we're practicing self-love much better for ourselves. My name is Arian. I'm a healer and an intuitive trauma coach. I'd like to bring your attention to an online course that I'm working on currently at the moment. This online course teaches you how to heal your emotional wounds. In this course, I go through extensively how we work as human beings, how our childhood affected us, what our thoughts are, what our feelings are, what's actually going on in this system. And then I teach you how to heal yourself, how to reintegrate aspects of yourself, how to start feeling again, how to align with better thinking thoughts. If you'd like to learn more, I'm going to put a link to this course in the description. Check it out. Back to the video. What is self-love? Now, before I get into this video, I want to make it very clear that just because we might not be practicing self-love in the proper way doesn't mean we're doing anything wrong. So if you go through this video and you hear things and think, oh, I should be doing that and I'm not, it's not you doing wrong. We can't put expectations like that on ourselves. We can't expect ourselves to have known how to do something when we've never learned it and we were never taught it. We've never got shown what that is. So in the spirit of self-love, I want you to have full compassion and care with yourself right now and be completely okay if some of the things that I talk about isn't necessarily what you're doing. The really good thing is this is an opportunity to be able to start doing these things and start practicing self-love, which in turn would massively speed up your healing journey. Now, self-love itself as a topic is huge, and I could talk about this for so long. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and squeeze this in a watchable size video and try to talk about the parts where I believe to be the most important about self-love. And in the future, I'll no doubt do other videos about self-love and cover other aspects of it as well. So to start, it's really beneficial and helpful for us to get an understanding of why we are the way we are to ourselves. A way a human being protects themselves emotionally is by doing that thing that is happening to them on themselves. So an example of this would be, let's say you're in your childhood and you wanted to dance. So you would go in the middle of a room when the family's there or the caretaker's there, and you would just dance and you would do a certain type of dance, let's say. Now in that moment, maybe someone, whether it's your caregiver, whether it's your sibling, whether it's an auntie or an uncle or grandparent or whatever, maybe they may have made fun of you in that moment. Maybe they may have said like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? That looks silly. Now that's shaming that child in that moment. And in that moment, we do experience distress without resolve. This is what trauma is. Trauma isn't only like really big things that happen. They happen a lot more than you would think. To get a better understanding of what trauma is and what happens in the moment, I'm going to link my video up there of what is trauma, and I'll also put it in the description. Check that out. So in the moment where that trauma happens, we create aspects of ourselves. Again, to get a much better understanding of what aspects are, I'm going to link the video there as well, and also put it in the description. So once we've created this aspect of ourselves, this aspect has now learned that it's not safe to express yourself in that way, to dance and be that expressive in that way. It's unsafe because you get made feel shame for it. So that in itself is an unsafe interaction. It could be seen as like an attack at me because I put myself out there. Now I'm being shamed for it. So the way that a human being would protect themselves in that moment is by saying the same thing that was said in that interaction, in that experience. So for example, the next time I would have a desire to go and dance, I would say to myself, no, what are you doing? Don't do that. You look silly. No, don't do that. That is a way for me to stop myself from putting myself in an experience where I would feel unsafe, where I would feel that shame again of either my caregivers or my siblings or someone saying something like that to me. So it's a way that we protect ourselves. This is what the ego is. This is what the ego does. I know a lot of people have like this bad impression of the ego, and it's like the evil one, and it's really, really not. The ego is that part of you that figures out how to keep you safe. And this is one of the ways that it works. This is how it keeps you safe. The ego's job is to keep you safe as fast as possible. And in experiences like this is the fastest way to keep you safe, is to not do it. Now, this experience teaches us that we need to keep ourselves safe like this. And this becomes a pattern. And this pattern continues all the way through our childhood, even to when we're adults. This is why we can reminisce of like, oh my God, I was so much more confident when I was younger, and I wanted to do so much more. But now every time I think about dancing, or every time I think about getting the guitar and playing some music or anything, it just doesn't feel right. It feels uncomfortable. It's because that pattern is still in there. That aspect that was created is continuing to keep you safe in the same way that we know that it worked previously. These patterns have been created only to keep you safe. And you're not doing anything wrong. It's not wrong to not want to dance in front of people. And we tend to go down the route of, I just need to get to that stage where I just feel comfortable dancing in front of people. And we're completely disregarding the communication our feelings are giving us to why I originally feel uncomfortable dancing in front of people. The reason that feeling is there is because it's your mind and body are giving you a link to that aspect that was created in that moment. This is the aspect that needs that love, that needs that reintegration, that needs the healing. Once we get to the stage where we can tackle that aspect and heal that aspect, those uncomfortable feelings won't be there when we want to put ourselves out there and when we want to dance in front of people. And don't get me wrong, there is going to be an aspect of you know, the more you do it, the more comfortable you will get. But this is where like the core root of it started. The way we treat ourselves and the way we think that we should or shouldn't be a certain way has a lot to do with being able to listen to the communication that our feelings are trying to give us. We live in a society where we just get told you should do this, you shouldn't do that. You should be able to dance in front of people, and the fact that you can't is something that you're doing wrong. That's not the case at all. Because if you label not being able to do something that you feel shame for as wrong, then you're disregarding that communication. We've been brought up to learn to ignore how we feel. This could be as simple as in a vulnerable state where we're crying, we've been told we shouldn't cry, and big girls or big boys don't cry. That's a way of teaching us to push away how we feel and ignore our feelings. Another example would be the person who used to dance in front of people. If now you're trying to do something and you feel resistance and you feel shame, there's a communication there. But because we don't like to feel those feelings, we push it away. All of these undesirable feelings that we feel are all aspects of ourselves, and these aspects carry these feelings. And when we're feeling the feelings that the aspects carry, that's when the aspect is trying to come closer and reintegrate and heal that part of us. But we've never been taught this stuff, so what we do is we push it away because we don't like to feel it, or we feel like we shouldn't be like that, so we push it away. This is not the goal. To love is to accept. Unconditional love means you unconditionally accept. To love someone is to take them on as part of yourself. So if you have a child and you love that child, then you've taken that child on as part of yourself. If you have a partner and you love that partner, you've taken that partner on as a part of yourself. Which means that if you make any decisions that may hurt that person that you love, then it will hurt you. To unconditionally love someone is to unconditionally accept them. Accept them for who they are, how they are. Now, if you were brought up in a household where that unconditional acceptance wasn't there, that doesn't necessarily mean you weren't loved or cared for. We all love to the ability that we know how to and that we can. This includes our caregivers, this includes our siblings, and everyone that we know. This is also how we love ourselves. We love ourselves to the ability that we know how to. Now, like I said, to love is to accept, is to take on as a part of yourself. These aspects inside of us are looking for love. They're looking for acceptance. They're looking to be taken on as a part of ourselves for that reintegration. Now, if we're pushing these emotions away and pushing these feelings away because we don't like to feel them, we're pushing these aspects away. The reason self-love is like premium fuel for your healing journey is because in order to reintegrate aspects, you have to accept them. You have to be okay with them being there. You have to show them love in order to reintegrate so that you take them on as a part of yourself. And by pushing these feelings away and not wanting to feel these or thinking that I should be like this or I shouldn't be like that, we're pushing these aspects away. You're not doing anything wrong. These are the parts of us that we learned to reject and deny and disown because it wasn't safe to have them as part of us. This is how we learn how to stay safe. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just self-love is something we need to learn how to do. It's much, much more than just taking yourself out, buying yourself something, treating yourself. You could take yourself to the coffee shop in the afternoon and buy yourself a lovely lunch and treat yourself really well. But if you start feeling these undesirable feelings come up and you're just ignoring them and you don't want to talk about it and you're distracting yourself and you're pushing them away, you're not accepting or taking on those aspects of yourself. So you're not practicing self-love. Again, this is one of those things where we don't know what we don't know. We don't know how to practice self-love until we start learning how to practice self-love. You can't be practicing self-love if you're not healing. If someone is not on their healing journey and they're saying that they're practicing self-love, they're not practicing self-love to the degree where they're accepting all aspects of themselves. And accepting all aspects of yourself doesn't mean that, well, I'm okay to be like this, I'm okay to be like that, I don't mind being like that. It means that you're listening to the communication your feelings are giving to you. You're working on understanding what that's coming from, where that's coming from. You're working towards reintegrating and getting to know these aspects, getting to understand them. You're working on learning how to meet your own needs. You're working on being able to self-soothe yourself. These aspects inside of you need soothing, they need love, they need affection, they need compassion. If we're not doing all of that, we're not practicing self-love. In order to practice self-love, you need to just completely be okay with who you are, because who you are is someone that has been programmed to be and feel the way you are because of the life experiences you've had. All human beings at their natural state are healthy. When we're at our natural state, we feel things like joy, like love, enlightenment, peace. This is when we're in alignment with our natural state. When we're out of alignment of our natural state, we feel feelings like shame, fear, guilt, jealousy, resentment. The reason we feel those feelings is to make you aware of the aspects that need healing. The only reason anyone feels those feelings such as shame, anger, and guilt and all of the rest is because there are emotional wounds there that need healing. This is why two people can have the same experience and have a completely different reaction, because one will have an emotional wounds regarding that experience and the other one won't. Your feelings are a guidance system. They're a guidance system to the emotional wounds that you have. These are the aspects coming forward when you feel all of these undesirable feelings. So to push them away or not want to think about them, or to distract yourself, or to not accept and think that you shouldn't be like this, that's all pushing these aspects away. That is the opposite of self-love. To practice self-love, we need to learn how to completely just accept that we are who we are because of the life experiences we've had. Be compassionate to yourself, be kind to yourself. It's okay that you are finding this hard. This is hard. You've not been taught how this works. You've not known what's been going on. You're on your healing journey to learn how all of this vehicle works, what is going on with you, and why you feel the way you do. No one is perfect at this, and no one gets away from this. Every single human in the world works like this. And we live in a time where this isn't common knowledge to everyone. However you feel is correct. There is no you should or shouldn't feel like this, because your feelings are a communication to you. So listen to that communication and work towards what that communication is trying to say to you. Any feeling you have in this life is valid. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not what's wrong with you. It's what happened to you. To concentrate on self-love, to concentrate on healing and work your way towards healing will resolve all of these undesirable feelings, because we start taking them on and releasing them. We start reintegrating them. You're not doing anything wrong. I hope you liked this video, and I hope there was a lot of value in there for you. Like I said, I'm just trying to keep this condensed to a shorter video. I don't want to talk too much about self-love, as there is so much we can talk about. Don't forget, if you're interested in learning how to heal yourself, I'm going to put the link of my course where I'm going to teach you how to heal yourself in the description. Check that out. I also do host online workshops and online meditations through my MeetUp group. I'm going to put the link in the description for that as well. They are free, completely free. You know, just turn up. I do healing meditations, and in the workshops we talk about things like this, and you will also get a chance to ask me any questions you want. So please check that out. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.